Well, my x100vi finally came in. Ironically, my birthday was on the 24th and this came in on the 23rd. This was supposed to be one of my birthday presents from my husband, and we honestly were like, we don't know when it'll ever come in. And we had ordered it from this store in May. We actually pre-ordered a different one in April, but the other one had an even longer wait list. So I really thought it was not coming, and it was pretty funny that it came literally the day before my birthday, so I ran and picked it up as soon as it was there. I am still like figuring out a lot of the settings because it is quite different in the settings from my x100v. It's probably more similar to the X-T32 settings, even though I know that's still an X-Trans4 sensor. One of the main differences that I noticed that is probably obvious to people, I thought that everything would be able to be used on this. I knew there were slight differences in the bodies. It was enough though that this half case that I have from x100v does not fit on this one. It's just that much bigger that this did not work. So I did have to order a new half case, but I do love the color of this one. I couldn't find one just like this, but either way, I still have that one. I don't love that this one has the little bolts on the bottom, so because it's actually a full case, so it actually like sits weird. The one I got for this is only a half case and it does sit flat, which is very nice. And at the moment, I just have the Nisi combined filter on here. I kind of have gone back and forth between if I like using the Pro Mist filters more or the just plain filter, because sometimes when I use the plain filter, I'm reminded of how sharp this camera really is because the Pro Mist takes away from that. So sometimes I totally forget how sharp it really is. I am taking the Pro Mist with me on our trip to Disney soon, which I'm glad I get to take this now, and I will have it in a half case, so if it gets dropped like last time, it will be more protected, and I'm probably going to keep the lens hood on it too. It just depends. I do have this little, it's the Hogue brand lens hood. It just has a plain filter in it right now, but like, it's hard. When I do weddings, I definitely have this on because I'm carrying other cameras, things get bumped around. At Disney, this will pretty much be the only one, and I do want to make sure that if I'm getting on a ride, I can just put it in my bag really quickly, and I'm not sure how much this will affect that. So I am going to take that. I'm not positive yet if I'm going to use that, but everything else has worked really well. I have plenty of batteries now. I probably need some more higher SD cards because obviously there's the bigger sensor in here, and I'm going to be taking some videos on this. I am not a video person. I know photo stuff great. I'm great with manual photo settings and editing. I am not good with video settings. Like, I get the basic concept, but most of the things in these settings for video, I'm like, I don't know what any of that means. I have thought about going back to the camera store and just asking the guy there that does a lot of the Fuji stuff, like, can you walk me through some of this just so I know what it is? Even right now filming on my Sony, I literally just have it in aperture priority video mode, and I've just left it like that. I don't know much else about what I'm doing, but this camera's very sharp for video. It's been great. Another feature that no one mentions about this, and I love it, also love it about this Sony camera, and I know that's not what most people care about at all, but for me personally, I love that there is a skin smoothing feature. So like, I have it on high in this one. I don't have it on high in my Sony. I have it on like lowest. I have it on high in this because I am already insecure about my skin. So when I take photos, I love that my skin just looks nice. And like the first photo I took, like where I tried to take a selfie, which is hard to do with this, I just wanted to see what it looked like. My skin looked smooth, but my eyelashes were so in focus. And that really impressed me. It's a feature I'm excited about. Maybe not everybody else is, but I am. So there's gonna be, I know everybody for video is obsessed with like 4K, 6K, all that. I don't care about those. I'm fine with still filming just in HD 1080p. I'm totally fine with that. I don't need the extra like 4K whatever, because 9 times out of 10, like I don't have the storage for that anyway. I also don't do color grading in video. I don't know how to use any of that or do F-Log. Like I don't have color grading software. So I personally would just like to be able to put, and I do see that you can put custom video simulations in, which is awesome. So I'm going to be trying to figure those out now and probably just kind of match them a lot to a lot of my regular like film simulations for photo. But that's also something I still have to figure out. I want to take a lot of cool little, Jason Vong did a little video of Disney with this camera, and he did some really cool videos, but he did color grade them. And I want that color grading, but I don't know how to do all that. So I'm hoping I can find a simulation that I can use, like maybe even just a Portra 400 type thing that would just make the colors really pop at Disney when we're there, and just take cool little slow motion videos of stuff. I just have to figure more of that out. Like I understand how the shutter speed and all that work in relation, but I still don't know all the settings. So that's kind of where I get confused. I'm really excited though. I have not had much chance to use it yet. I will say the autofocus on this, for me at least, compared to my V even, seems super snappy. It's very much focused on the eyes. Like When my husband and I went to afternoon tea for my birthday, I was taking pictures of him and he was taking some of me, like across the table. There was a ton of stuff in front of us and things that I know if I had my V with me, it would have struggled to focus on either me or the stuff right in front of me. This did not struggle. This went straight to my eyes every time, easy. Didn't have to go, oh, it's out of focus, can you retake it? I definitely can feel the weight difference, and I can also feel the ibis moving around. It kind of feels like weird, like almost like water in there. It's not, but it feels, I don't know how else to explain it. It's nice and clean, obviously, because I haven't dropped this one like that one. But I am really excited about it. There's a lot more in the settings that I have to figure out that I haven't. One that irritates me that I've noticed from the X-T30 as well, again, why I feel like the settings and the menus are more similar to that than they are to the X100V. When you set your custom settings, for whatever reason, and if there's a way around this, please tell me. When you set your custom settings, like if I were to turn this camera back on right now and go to my custom setting, usually if I go to like, let me just double check this, but if I go to, actually it might actually be working right now. Let me check this. Oh, my new filter was on, that's cool. I want to see if it does. Okay, it's not doing it in here. Maybe it's just in my X-T30 or maybe I turned something off where it would hold it would reset your ISO and your shutter speed. And then I would have to redo it every time I turn the camera on and off. At least on my X-T30 too, it does that and it drives me insane. Actually, it's not doing that now. Maybe it was just something I did in the beginning. The only other thing though that I've noticed that kind of went with that though is that there's a setting where you can turn flash and audio off, like sound. I don't like doing that because I like being able to quickly access the flash if I need to, but I also want the camera to be silent. When I would switch between film simulations, it would turn the non-silent part, which I just have the shutter on, that's all, but it would turn that back on and then I would hear the shutter and I'm like, but I don't want that right now. I just want, so I haven't been able to figure out how to separate those two and why it keeps resetting the sound. It seems to be whenever I switch simulations and I'm like, is it because when I put that one in, the sound was, I really don't know. I'm going off the issues I've had with my X-T32. So those are just some observations I've had. I haven't really even had time yet to like watch anybody's like videos on YouTube on settings. I've obviously over the last like how many months, 6, 7, I don't know how many months, I've watched a lot of videos about the X100VI. I just have not had a chance to, since I've had it, really sit down and watch like through different settings. And sometimes people explain them in ways that don't make as much sense to me. Like there's extra settings in here about the IBIS even. Like I know when I can have it on for photo, although I probably don't even, I never really noticed it with that I needed it. I never was really doing handheld slow shutter shots unless it was like water moving. So I didn't do that often anyway. In here, I know that like you can keep it on continuous or you can put it on shooting only, and I think continuous drains the battery more, so I did switch it. The other thing though is like in video settings, and I'd have to go back in those anyway, it mentions something about like IBIS plus this or just IBIS, and I don't know what all those mean. This is where I get annoyed when Fuji cameras and just cameras in general don't come with manuals anymore. I know they're like, you can go online, and I'm like, I hate reading online. I want a physical manual, and I can't just print off a 300-page manual or whatever for myself. So I get frustrated with those. I also get frustrated that they don't come with a charging block anymore. Why does everybody just assume we just want a cord now? I don't want a cord. So thankfully, because I already had one from one of my older cameras, I already had a charging block. I also have the Amazon charger that charges 2 batteries at once from the like non-name brand ones I got. That's kind of my thoughts at the moment, but I am so excited to finally have this in my hands, and I really have been looking forward to trying using it to take little video clips at Disney, like kind of like, I don't, again, without like being able to show you guys Jason Vong's video, it was, I think it might have even only been like a reel or TikTok, so I don't even know that he'd made it in a full YouTube video, but it was just like how he showed like the flat F-log switching over to the color grading in each section that he filmed in the park, and it was just the slow motion of really cool spots, and it was so beautiful, and I would love to try and do that. I don't know video settings that well, but I also don't color grade. I will be taking most videos on this Sony ZV-1 just because it's been a phenomenal vlog camera already so far. So much better than my G7X. I kind of don't even know if I'm going to take any other cameras. I'm going to take the TCL with this, obviously. Oh, I am going to take my X70 because I think that would be a good one if I just want to pull out a little tiny wider camera. I have that, so I'm probably only going to take my Sony for video, and then my X100V with the TCL lens, and then my X70. And that'll be a pretty small bag setup instead of having to bring something bigger. Like last time I took my X230 and some lenses. I still debate taking like my R8 and just like the 35 and 50 just for some like full frame shots in the parks. I never seem to have time. We're gonna be there when it's really hot. I don't know that I'm gonna want to do that, so we'll see. I do have a wedding this weekend, so I am gonna take it to that. But I also thought it's really cool that now that I have both of these, I'm not selling this one. This is now my backup. I could take these out on just like a normal photo shoot and put the TCL on one camera and like just use the 35 on the other and just be able to easily switch without having to worry about screwing that lens on and off. So that's also really cool. And I could also have one with the Pro Mist filter on and one without, so I like that. But that's all I have to share so far about my X100VI, but I love it so far. Like, I know people don't understand the fixed lens thing, but this is in my purse every day. I don't need another lens with it. I love just carrying this as it is in my purse every day. This is not my main camera. You guys know I have plenty of other cameras. Like, it's not an issue of I need to be able to put other lenses on. For this, I don't. That's the purpose for me. I can take it everywhere. I'm allowed to take it into places that don't allow a lot of my other cameras because this is a fixed lens camera. I was allowed to take this into the soccer stadium here, which does not allow any of these cameras. So that's also another benefit.